So, everybody's got these things. Check me walking into sight, doing my thing, lifting my shirt to show you the birthmark that's on my back. This is the thing that I can't change about myself. It's this little brown mark with a freckle in the middle. And, we have things beyond the physical that are impossible for us to change about ourselves. And I have this other mark that's been with me since I could ever remember, from my mother's womb. I learned about this mark. But as you can see, it ain't that pretty on me. And I'll explain why it ain't that pretty on me in a little bit. But first, I'm going to talk about some foundations, Everybody's got them, and the foundations of Korea happen to be in some way where I live. This is the Korean version of Stonehenge, and not that Chinese crest, because the stone's older than that. But anyway, when you touch these rocks, you feel how hard and heavy and well-weathered they are because of how, big they are. And you realize this thing hadn't moved in a long time. And, there's things that have not moved in your life for a long time. So you kind of decide to rest in it a little bit and kind of accept it instead of overcorrect and be crazy and say, I hate everything about where I come from. But anyway, you examine like you do what I did with that rock. You examine the under bits and you see, dang, this thing is balancing, but it's on some real small rocks. And you think, well, what I'm saying right now is like there's more big rocks up there, but I'm going to go somewhere else and show you something else different because, I just didn't feel like putting those shots in, but I felt like putting these shots of the pretty trees in there. Anyway, this is my foundation. My foundation because of where I come from and where, my ancestry comes from, being 100% European white man. Unfortunately, because as a low-key, whatever, self-hating millennial, a little bit, not that much really, but, you kind of have to feel guilty about being 100% white. And anyway, what came from that background is the Bible, Christianity, and I'm not upset about it. I'm not fully upset about it because, flipping through these pages, I've really realized there's incredible beauty and depth in there that I don't want to remove from myself. But at the same time, when you grow, when you become an adult in this world where there's so much information, and you're also a person, not trying to say anybody else, not trying to say people are not honest, but I try saying that. I try to be honest when I think that I'm wrong. And I think I've been wrong about the idea that the Bible's been true 100%. And what that means is I have to look at it like any book and consider what seems reasonable. And in doing so, I am letting the seeds that were the seeds of my youth die so that a more beautiful tree can grow. And that's biblical. And in the meantime, you cope by trying to find more information, makes you crazy, so you got to distract yourself with some games and all that. And watch some movies that are real weird, but you relate because you're weird too. Not in a cool way. And you think 30 years is enough. So it's time for me to do a little spiritual ooh-eyed so I can become something new and retain the DNA of that mark on my back.